Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Try to say that twice. Doing business in life with a purpose, serving others, yes, and yes, achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to make an impact in your world. Not the world, but let's make an impact in your world first to help the bigger world. And while you're listening to this incredible guest who I've been talking to before the show, she's awesome. You're going to love her. I want you to think about how you're going to serve today and who that will be and what impact will you create with that service. I want to thank my sponsor, pitchdb.com. Imagine being a guest in over 3 million podcasts or speak at a potentially 11,000 conferences, much, much more. Build your thought leader platform with incredible opportunities to show who you are. With that being said, we talk about impact. I'm a huge fan. The people that know me listening, that I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I think if you're in business at all, that's the place you need to be. The other platforms are okay. That's my thought. But LinkedIn, and I've got an expert here, but you know why I love her? She has a heart for people. So now she's going to help you. She's going to help with your heart. Donna, welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this question I want to ask, why LinkedIn?
Why LinkedIn? Why not TikTok? Why not Twitter or X or Facebook or Instagram? Why LinkedIn? For me, I come from that professional corporate world. I come from a sales background. I even come from a background in CRM, customer relationship management. And so when I intersected with LinkedIn the very first time, which was a very, very long time ago, it was back in 2005, a long time ago. I can't say that I immediately saw its value. I didn't immediately. Immediately, it was like, what is this? It kind of looks like my resume. Let me copy and paste and just sort of fill it up with something that's already been written and let me see what it is. And it didn't immediately offer me, success and opportunities. But the longer it was out there and the longer I played with it, I started to realize, wait, this is a CRM that people own. It's their own, and they never have to give it up. It's not like a company can just turn it off and that book of business just evaporates. No, this is yours, and this is your network, and your network is powerful, but it's more than a network. It's your brand, right? It's your online reputation. It's how people perceive you, and you have the control to shape how people perceive you by the stories that you tell on it. So all of these things very early on made sense to me, and I saw this amazing potential. And I would even say that I saw the potential of it before even LinkedIn did, because LinkedIn was still saying, oh, just copy and paste your resume. This is just your online, it's just an online resume. I knew it was so much more. And so that's why LinkedIn, because I got it. It made sense to me. And to me, having that professional piece was what was so special.
Yeah. I love the word vision in your company name. We talked about it before. We had a great conversation about that. But talk about vision and utilizing LinkedIn as a platform for that.
Yeah, so when I popped in originally, you were like, "How long have you been doing vision boarding?" And I'm like, "We don't do vision boarding." So my business is called Vision Board Media, and it's a funny story as to why it's called Vision Board Media. I had originally called it Donna Tech Designs. I was thinking very, very small. I really, when I first started, I didn't ever think it was going to grow beyond just me. But luckily it did. It grew very quickly beyond just me. And I soon had a team, and we're writing LinkedIn profiles and bios and resumes and doing all of this stuff for executives and entrepreneurs and professionals from all over the world. And I knew, like, I have to get rid of this Donna Tech Designs name. What am I going to call it?
Yeah.
And I talked to a business consultant, and he said to me, you should name your company Golden Lizard. Golden Lizard. And he said, I could see you walking into a networking event with a big golden lizard pin on your dress.
Okay.
And I just giggled. Steve, I'm like, it made no sense. There was no symbolism. There was no meaning. It was just flashy without any authenticity. Right. I immediately dismissed it. And I remember I looked up at my vision board because, I thought I have to, there has to be a name for this business that has meaning, that has symbolism, that truly can define it. And I'm looking at my vision board, and I went, Vision Board Media, because we act as a vision board for our clients. Our clients come to us and they say, this is what I want. This is what I want to accomplish. I feel confined now, but this is where I want to grow to. These are the positions. These are the opportunities that I want. This is what we want to grow into. This is how I want to level up. Vision Board Media, we're a board of people who help our clients reach that next level, to reach their vision, to reach their dreams. And there you have it. That is the name of the company, Vision Board Media.
Boys, that make more sense than a lizard.
Yeah.
I know. But that's okay. He put it out there, and or she, whoever it was. It's interesting.
It was a good guy. I liked him very much.
Yeah.
But it just, for me, and I just posted about this on LinkedIn today, in fact, and that is, a lot of times we think of a brand and it's all presentation, but really your brand should have depth. It should have authenticity. It should have a story. It should be real, and it should have impact. And it really should show how you benefit and how you help people.
Right.
That's the secret component.
Yeah, and that's why you're on here. The servant's heart comes from that. Yeah, you're a business, and every business needs to make money because we have expenses and all that comes with it. People don't have to talk about it. But what's interesting, you said the word network as you were talking about your business. How important is networking in LinkedIn? Because I'm a big network is your net worth.
Oh, it is. I love that. I love that quote. That's such a good one. With LinkedIn, it's changed. They've changed it quite a bit. At one time you only had your connections, right? You added people to your network. They were first, second, or third degree connections. And if you wanted to be noticed, if you wanted to be found, if you wanted to be heard, you needed to expand that network. But then they brought in the follow button. And so now it's no longer where it has to be that two-way street. Now it could be that one-way street where people are subscribing to you, but it's not the other way around, right? It's just this one-way street of connection. So I love the follow button because it does allow us to truly grow. But I still believe in the power of that connection. Right? To connect, to bring someone into your network, you're sharing your network with them. They become that first degree connection. And it still matters when a person searches LinkedIn, they are searching their network, that first, second, and third degree. Very rarely, if you search LinkedIn, are you finding people who are outside of your network. You just don't see it. So to me, that network is important because it's not just who you're connecting to, but it's who they're connected to and who they're connected to. So that's the power. It's almost that extrapolation.
Yeah, and we're in a people asset business. I talk about that all the time. That's what you do. You're taking people and bringing it to that brand, entrepreneur, whoever it may be, and go, okay, who's a fit and who's not? And they're not all going to be a fit. That's fine. But you got to go through a bunch of people to see if they're a fit and both ways.
Yeah.
So
and not everyone's going to love you, right?
No.
Not everyone's going to love you. And that's okay, because there are people out there who will resonate. And it's best to truly be your authentic self, to show up as you are, who you are. And with that said, I don't want anyone to cling to who they are today, right? It's not about that piece, because I do believe that in order to grow and to level up, you've got to look at that future state,
Yeah.
and you almost have to inhabit it now, right? In order for people to see you as that fit. So there's a lot of alignment that we need to do in terms of it. But with that said, you know, it's who you are and what you represent and what you stand for. Those things will never change. And if you pretend to be someone you're not, you're going to attract the wrong audience. And then that's when you're not going to be happy.
Yeah. And the other thing, you want to be authentic on social media, because there's a lot of non-authentic, if that's a word, non-authenticity.
Inauthentic.
Thank you. See, there's my guest always teaching me. That's why I love being a host. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's a lot of that on there. We know, it's your big houses, and be authentic. And that's what you promote, which I love. So somebody's listening. They're like, Donna, you're a rock star, but I have a LinkedIn profile. What's one big mistake that people do that can be corrected pretty easily?
Mm. I think one of the big issues that people do, and even today, it's hard to write about yourself. It's hard to write about yourself. And so we've got two issues. One, the person goes, "Oh, it's so hard. I don't want to do this. Let me copy and paste my old out-of-date resume." All right. So they do that. Or they say, let me get smart and let me go to AI and let me generate some content. And the content is fluffy. It's circular. it's overly flowery, and it says a lot without really saying anything. Right?
Yep.
So both of these paths are easy paths, but they're not the right path. Because in order to be successful on LinkedIn, you really do have to tell people who you are, what you do, how you help, why it matters. This is important. People need to know what to think about you, and they won't know unless you tell them. And if you don't tell them, they're going to come up with something that's wrong, that's not right, that's not accurate, or even specific, right? They're going to come up with something else. So this is your LinkedIn profile is where you really need to think, why am I on it? What am I trying to achieve? Who is my target audience? What do they need to know about me? What do I want them to know about me as well,
Yeah.
right? The inverse of that. And so is that easy? I don't know if that's easy. Steve, it's hard. That's all I can tell you. To really be able to see yourself objectively, to know the questions to ask yourself, to be able to dig in deeper and to get to the core. None of this is easy, but it shouldn't be, because we're complicated humans, right?
Yeah.
And most of us aren't narcissists. So, we
True.
don't like these tasks. These are hard things to do. So, it's something that says, what do you want? What are the results that you want? What kind of opportunities? Do you want to sell? Do you want board opportunities? Do you want speaking engagements? Do you want to level up? Do you want promotions? Do you want to find, did I say board seats? Do you want fractional, opportunities? Do you want to find clients? What is it that you want? Because believe it or not, your LinkedIn profile can help you collide with those opportunities if you do it correctly.
I love that collide. And I like what you said, because a number of profiles I've looked at, it's all about, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, but there's no purpose or why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because they think I got to sell myself. So here's what I do if you got this pain point. But I love that, because the why and purpose is a game changer anywhere, but especially on social media, because we see it less. Well, that leads to, I'm looking this up. You've got a very cool tool called the personal branding assessment.
Yes.
Talk about that, because you were telling me about it. I'm so excited.
So it's one of those things where people would come to me and they're like, Donna, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that my brand is important, but like, where do I stand? How do I rank? Like, help me. And so having all of those conversations, I thought, all right, how do we help our clients? we help them. And I have an acronym. It's called RISE. And it stands for R is revelation. You need to have that revelation, and like, if you think about it, if you think about opportunities, right? People want to be in the right room with the right audience, right? That's what we all want. We want to be in the right room with the right people, getting the right opportunities. So the revelation piece is, well, what room do you want to be in? Right? We need to know where should we be aiming? So many people don't even know that. So we need to work through that. Where's the room? What is that room? Let's describe that room. Who are the people in it? Let's get really clear. So that's the R, that's the revelation. You need to have that revelation. And then we have I. I stands for image, right? Image and identity. Because once you get into the room, once you know what the room is, you've got to walk in there like you belong. You got to look like that's the room that you belong in. Because if you don't belong in that room, what's going to happen? They're going to ask you to leave. So
Yeah.
we need to make sure that you've got the right brand, the right image, the right identity, all of those things, the profile and the bio and the resume and the cover letter, all of the things that you need to fit into that room. You need to have it. It needs to be on point and it needs to be polished. But then once you're in the room, because you belong, because you look like you belong, are you acting like you belong? That's the S. That's shine. Are you shining? Are you sparkling? Are you showing up in the right way? Right? And so that the S is important. That's what we're helping. And then we get into E. What is E? E is evolution. That is where you now evolve, where you want to be. But at that point, what also happens? Yes, you're eminent. E is for eminence, but you also will probably want to evolve and get into a different room. So then we start all the way over again. But so that's what we grade on. So if you visit linkedin-makeover.com and you go to free resources and you click on the personal branding assessment, it's going to ask you about 15 questions, very quick. You answer them, click, click, click. Where do you belong? And then it's going to push out a report. And the report is customized based upon the answers to your questions. And it really tells you, like, what do you need to get through to the right room with the right people to show up? And it creates that blueprint for you.
And be walking in the right doors too. How many times do we walk in the wrong door?
Oh,
And it's a learning lesson. That's what I love about opportunity doors. They're open and close. You can walk in the door and walk back out. That's the power of it. But you got to walk in first. So that's always good. I hear this a lot. Well, sometimes when people ask me, how often should they change their LinkedIn information when things change in their business life and life?
yeah.
Or, is there a cut time, like every month change it or every quarter change it?
Your LinkedIn profile should be something that you do actively work on. Right. And so is it something that you need to touch every day? No, that would be crazy. But you should, every few weeks, every few months. Absolutely. Because think about it this way. We all want to collide with opportunity, right? That's what we want.
Yep.
We want opportunity to fall in our lap. And when is it going to fall in our lap? Oftentimes it's a person saying, I need someone. I don't know if they exist, but I need someone who can help me with my podcast, who can help me with my LinkedIn profile, who can help me do this, who can help me manage my business better, who can sell me insurance, whatever it is. There's a person that needs your services. They don't know you exist. How are they going to find you? Oftentimes they might go to Google, but Google, my goodness, it's everybody and anything, right? It could be anything. But if you go to LinkedIn and you put that in, you can say, I want it in my area. I want it to be someone who knows someone that I know. Right.
Powerful.
And then we want them to go through those search results. So we think of it like that. LinkedIn lives or dies by those search results, right? They want you to find good results, right? So why would they show a result that hasn't been updated in 2 years?
Interesting. It's a good point. That's a really good point. So posting then is part of that too. How often you post, and I teach people go on LinkedIn and make sure you look. When's the last time I post? Well, it's 6 months ago. They're not active. They're probably not even going to answer your message.
Exactly.
what's your schedule for posting? Is it different for everybody?
It's different for everybody, Steve.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you like it's a,
Yeah.
you know, one size fits all, but it doesn't. There are some people who they want to be seen as thought leaders. They've, you know, they've got a big audience, they have visions. Yeah, every day. Come on, you got to do it every day. It's just, it is what it is. You know, if you want to be in front of these people, you got to do it every day.
Yeah.
But not everybody has that vision. Not everybody. Some people are like, you know what? I just want to pop up. I just want to show up on their radar every now and then. You know, drip feed marketing. It's not important that I'm always in their face, but I want to, you know, pop up. And in that situation, can you do it 3 times a week? Can you do it once a week? Can you do it once every 2 weeks? All of these work. They all work. You can do it once every 2 weeks. And look, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get thousands of followers at that schedule, but you're going to show up. People will see you. They're going to love it. They're going to comment. That's a good thing, right? So you have to choose and say, what is realistic for me as a business person, as a professional, what makes sense? And that could be every day. It could be 3 times a week. It could be once a week. It could be once every 2 weeks. It could be once a month. All of this works. It all works. It just what makes sense for you. But I would say this, if you're going to commit to any type of a schedule, definitely commit to it. If you're going to do it once every month, make sure you do it once every month. Be consistent. Know that there is that frequency, and the frequency is once a month. And I would also say, if you're only going to post once a month or once every 2 weeks, make sure you're commenting on the times that you're not posting.
You read my mind. I was going to ask that. Being active doesn't mean posting. You could be commenting on somebody else's post.
Yeah. And you could be curating too. You don't have to be creating. You could be curating. You could be looking at other people's posts and hitting repost and putting in your, you know, some thoughts, and boom, out it goes. It works just great.
Yeah. Especially with time. This is great. Well, we're getting close to the end. I don't want it to end, but
I don't want it to end either, Steve.
Oh, this has been great. No, let's get personal. You okay if I get personal with you?
Well, it depends. I'll let you know if you go too far, though.
There you go. Let me know. So what does Donna do on a Friday night?
Well, I do the same thing every Friday night. So when Friday rolls around, my 2 sons come home. My husband comes home from work, and then my mother and my sister come. We have a pizza night where we order pizza or we make pizza. One of our neighbors just gave us his uni. I think that's what it's called. It's like this pizza oven.
Oh,
I cannot wait to get started. We haven't yet used it, but we're going to be using it. I've bought some dough. I've got this. So we either buy the pizza or we're going to start making the pizza. And then we choose a family movie that we watch. And I make popcorn, and I hand make the popcorn. So I'm not doing a like throw the bag of microwavable bag into the microwave.
Orville Redenbacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do use Orville. I do like Orville popcorn.
But his corns.
Yes, his kernels.
That's it.
Very, very few old maids. But I have a whirly pop, which is this great little, it's like a pot, and it's got a crank on the end, and you put the cover on, and you first throw in a lot of oil, you put in some powder, blah, 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 and then you crank it, and you get the most amazing popcorn. And we eat our popcorn, we watch the movie, and we have our family movie night.
Now I want popcorn. I shouldn't have asked that, but now I'm hungry for popcorn. Maybe we'll do it tonight. I love that. I love the family get together. So it's so cool. And thanks for sharing. It's awesome. How can people reach out to you? Again, give us that link for the free tool. I don't want people to miss it.
Oh, sure. So visit my website. It's linkedin-makeover.com. You can also actually get it at visionboardmedia.com. It's available in both places. But I would also love if people follow me and message me on LinkedIn. That's where I am most of my day.
Super simple. Yeah. And you see the name there. I'll put these links in the show notes as well. Thank you so much, Donna. This has been incredible.
Oh, Steve, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
It has an audience. I always say this, but especially with somebody like Donna, it's giving you so much tips, so many tips. Jump on LinkedIn, but jump on the podcast. I hear people go, oh, podcast is 26 minutes long. This one's probably going to run 26, 27. It's too long. Well, listen to it and grab pieces of the podcast that resonate with you. Maybe she said something about popcorn. You love popcorn. I'm kind of half kidding. But something on LinkedIn that I've wrote notes that I'm going to use for my LinkedIn. Listen to it over and over again. Practice it. Me and Donna would love for you to watch and listen to the whole show. But if 5 minutes change your life or make a difference for you, we're both going to be super extremely happy. So utilize that forward and reverse button on the platforms for podcast, or if you look at watching on YouTube. Don't forget my TV show, Together We Serve, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't like time zones. We got to change that. I always forget that. Doing business with a servant's heart. I want to get this message out to the world. I have hats, t-shirts, put them on your head, put them on your shirt, walk around and talk to people about being a servant in this world. Let's change the world one t-shirt and hat at a time. And as I always say, me and Donna, thank you so much for watching and listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.